What's good? What's good? We are back. Another live for Fayettenam Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. As usual, I'm the one and only Paul Masson. Make sure y'all follow us on all our social medias at Live from Fayettenam, except on Twitter, it's Fayettenam Live. We go live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And afterwards, we download the audio version. The audio version will go to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and much, much more. Supposed to have a guest tonight. Haven't heard from him yet. Sometimes, cats be running and some up. We don't want to make any assumptions whatsoever. But I haven't got an email from him yet. Let's see. I'm too late. Getting ready. What do you say? Who is this? Oh, okay. I That was Mr. Jones. Told him to come on just in case as a backup if our guest does not come on. And last week, I think, yeah, our guest was a little bit late. We had Afu Ra on, and he's 6 hours ahead, so the time zones, probably a little conflicted and confusing, but we still got him on and had a nice little conversation with Afu Ra. Go check that out. Last week we did Afu Ra and a pre-recorded interview with Nine as well. And Nine had a lot of interesting things to say. We got a bunch of clips out there for Nine and a bunch of clips for Afu Ra as well. But you can go watch the full interviews on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I guess until I wait for our guest, he hasn't messaged me back. I'm actually supposed to be interviewing his group member next week, so I don't know how that's going to go. I guess I'm going to get into these topics that I want to go ahead and talk about. Freddie Gibbs versus J. Cole. So I'm hearing Freddie Gibbs called out J. Cole, and I guess he's something in the lines of saying that, excuse me, that J. Cole can't be really trying to say he's a better rapper than other guys or the best rapper in the game if he's not willing to engage with rappers when they engage with him at him. I agree with that, man. I mean, to be the best, what they say, you got to beat the best. To be the best, you got to beat the best. I think that goes for hip hop, especially. Hip hop is always MCing has always been built on battling um, MCs in the park battling. I think you know, you can't be out there calling yourself numero uno if you're not willing to prove it, and you can't prove it just solely off of making songs, in my opinion. I think you have to the best way to prove that you're better than somebody is an open competition where he makes a song, puts his song out, you make a song, put your song out, and the fans react. To me, that's the best way. Or, face to face. Face to face is always tough. That sometimes can get personal. But what is my opinion on Freddie Gibbs and Jake versus J. Cole? I know this much. If J. Cole is worried about these battles getting personal, and he felt like maybe that's why he backed off from the Kendrick because he felt like it might get personal. Well, you definitely don't want the Freddie Gibbs one to get personal. I could tell you that much. I seen the video of Freddie Gibbs fighting like 15 to 20 dudes in the restaurant. Like Freddie Gibbs he's definitely willing to throw down if it gets personal. Um I think J. Cole kind of backed himself in a corner where cats will feel a little bit um bolder on taking shots at him. They'll feel very bold on taking shots at him. I think they'll feel more comfortable calling him out, knowing that he'll probably not reply. He'll probably back down from the confrontation. Um, so that's what I think this could be. I think this could be Freddie Gibbs seeing an opportunity to possibly get some attention to his name right now while calling out a guy that he probably might actually disrespect a little bit now, or not disrespect, but not respect so much as he used to now. Now that Cole apologized and whatnot, so he's probably over there like, Cole, he apologized. He ain't gonna do nothing. I don't respect him as much because he apologized. You tried to act like you was numero uno. You and Drake was numero uno in the song, and as soon as somebody call you out, you back it up. You don't want none of that smoke, as they say. So I just think, there could be other cats, down the line that might call out Cole because they feel opportunity to get their name some attention. And we know people are gonna talk about it if somebody calls out Cole because they go like, "Oh, Cole got to say something. He got to come back." You know how it works. So it's good for at least a good week of viral clips and viral discussions. And I definitely don't know if Cole wants to retaliate on some Freddie Gibbs talking smack on him or calling him out or anything of that nature. Especially if he's worried about things getting personal. If you're worried about getting personal, I don't think Freddie Gibbs is the one you want to retaliate to. I think it would be interesting to see a little Freddie Gibbs and J. Cole battle. I'd like to see that. You know what I'm saying? See what Cole puts out, see what Freddie Gibbs puts out. But yeah, I think Cole's just kind of backed himself in a corner where cats are gonna feel, you know, like, yeah, we can call this guy out. He ain't gonna say nothing. He all he's gonna do is apologize. Um, I guess my guess ain't coming on, man. So let me get to this next topic. This ain't hip hop related, but it's media related. So LeBron rolling up on Stephen A. I gotta talk about it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it for LeBron, and I'm not even a big LeBron fan. I just don't like it because you gotta let Bronny grow up. You gotta let Bronny grow up. You gotta let him be his own man. You gotta let him stand on his own 2 feet. I feel like what LeBron is doing is gonna open up Bronny for more criticism, for more people to take shots at him. And all due respect, I feel sorry for Bronny in this situation. I feel like LeBron put on too much pressure on the kid just by simply saying you wanted to play in the league with him, and never really thought at the time or considered, is he going to be good enough to play in the league at any you just like automatically assumed, oh, he's going to be good enough to play in the league because he's my son. um I don't think he's good enough to play in the league as of now. I think like he definitely took a spot for somebody who deserved it more. We definitely know that LeBron pressured the Lakers into drafting him. And even though this is a weak draft this year, Bronny still shouldn't have been drafted as far as I'm concerned. He didn't show anything that warranted him getting drafted. Like JJ Redick said, oh, he earned it. He didn't even play his freshman year. He came off the bench. He barely scored, you know. And it wasn't like he was Devin Booker or something when Devin Booker was coming off the bench for Kentucky and he went pro. So it wasn't like that. So you did him a disservice by not allowing him to earn it. And then when people call out the fact that you didn't allow him to earn it, that you basically pressured the Lakers into drafting him. If not, you would have left and went to some other team. You know, there's that aspect. And then bouncing him back from the G League to the Pro League when he's should probably be in the G League. Let him cook for a while in the G League. It's like he gets 130-point game and they're like, oh, he's ready to go back up. He's ready to go back up. And are you gonna like LeBron? Are you gonna walk up to everybody who criticizes your adult son for being in a league that he hasn't earned a position for? I just don't think LeBron's doing him any justice. I think he's hurting his career more than he's helping it. I think once LeBron retires, that's probably it for Bronny. If he doesn't get better, he doesn't develop, and I don't see how he can. He's a 6'2" shooting guard. Show me in the history of the league when there's been a 6'2" shooting guard that has panned out. Let's see the best. Let's look something up. The best NBA shooting guards of all time that were 6'2". Let's see what we got here. Some of the most. I don't see no 6'2" shooting guards that Allen Iverson maybe. Allen Iverson, and the only reason he was a point guard is because he didn't even pass the ball. But Bronny's not no Allen Iverson, and I just don't see it. He's not a point guard. He's a 6'2" shooting guard who can't shoot. Yeah, I think LeBron, it's like let the kid defend himself. Let him be a man. Let him grow up. Don't baby him his whole life. He's a adult at this point of his life. He's making a living playing in the NBA, even though he's not good enough. I just think for LeBron, it was I just let him be a man. Let him grow up. Who we got? We got Mr. Myrtle Beach tune in. Sean Way, Mills Fashion. And he was the last one picked. Uh Mr. Myrtle Beach said he never will be. It was all a show. You know. I mean, yeah, okay, you play with your son. You got your what you wanted. You got to play a game or two or three or four with your son. I mean, I think LeBron should just retire. If they don't win it this year, I think he should retire and go off in the sunset just so he could do Bronny some kind of service to let him just try to become his own man, try to carve out his own path. It's kind of like when I interviewed Robert Duran Jr. He got into bare knuckle because if he's stays in the boxing, they're always going to compare him to his father, Roberto Duran. And they're always going to expect them to be as good as their father, which is very rare. If you look at like most NBA sons that are good in the league, their dads won't typically superstars. I mean, like look at Scottie Pippen's son. He's good. He made a roster, but he ain't a superstar. Like typically, like you got a cat like Steph Curry. Steph Curry is actually better than Dell Curry, but Dell Curry was just really a role player. You know what I'm saying? He was never an all star. So typically, role player guys have better sons. Like Demonis Sabonis is probably better than Arvinas Sabonis, especially by number wise. He's putting up the crazy triple doubles. But yeah, I don't think LeBron's doing him any justice. Let him grow up. Let him be a man. Um, he's going to be criticized simply because people know that you rigged the system to benefit you because you're the most powerful player in the NBA right now, and you know you had the Lakers at your mercy. But let him just go. Let him go back to G League, retire from the sunset. You Luka don't win this year, and do him some justice. Because if not, I think he'll be at the league as soon as LeBron retires. All right, so I want to talk about this. It doesn't look like my guest is coming on. I have not got any message from him, and I don't want to make any assumptions. I've had things happen where people had to reschedule. So if we have to reschedule, we'll have to reschedule. Maybe we're interviewing his group member next week, so maybe he can come on right after that or something. I'm thinking. All right, so I want to talk about, is there an age limit in hip hop? Is there an age limit in hip hop? Um, or age limit to making music or things of that nature. I know people hate to see us old heads, as they call us, hate to hear that there's an age limit in hip hop. I don't think there's an age limit for making music in hip hop per se. There's definitely not an age limit on making music. It like if you're just say you're like 50 years old and you've never established yourself as an artist making a living off of your music. I would never tell you to stop making music, especially if it involves your sanity. And if you can make music, just because you can, why would you not? Why would you stop making music if you're still alive? Like you don't like that's the thing. You're supposed to get better at making music. It's not like the NBA or bare knuckle fighting or boxing where the older you get, the slower you get, the more you diminish. You should get better through time when making music, in my opinion. And I will say this: I think there's an age limit on trying to make a living off of music. To get into that point where you actually start making a living off of making music, and I think that age limit is probably somewhere around 35 to 37. I think it's around 35 to 37. I think once you hit 40 years old, if you have not made a living off of your music per se, and when I say make a living, I mean like you're paying all your bills every single year, every single month, every single year off of your music based off of merchandise sales or touring or streaming or sponsorships, endorsements, wherever it may be. I think once you hit if you hit 40 and you haven't got to the point where you're even close to making a living off of your music, I think your time has probably came and went. It's probably passed you up as far as making a living off of your music. Now, does that mean you should stop making music? No. No, because my philosophy is it's a young man's game of getting on. And when I mean getting on, meaning like signing with a major label or making a living touring off of your music or features or whatever it may be. If you're a producer, making a living off of your beats and whatnot. Now, producers probably it's probably different. Like, but at the same time, if you probably haven't made a living off of your music by age 40, it's probably gonna be a tough route. It's probably gonna be a tough. You probably should have already been making a living off of your music if you're a producer and you're age 40. Now, so it's a young man's game of getting on, but I think it's an old man's game of staying on. Cause what happens is at some point you're going to have to change your style, change your sound, change your content, and that comes from just being older and wiser and whatnot. It's like Nine said, Smoother Hustle said when I interviewed him, if you 40 something, 50 years old, still rapping about the same shit you did when you was 20 years old, like you haven't progressed at all. You haven't grown up at all. So, I mean, if you look at last year, last year was typically album wise was ruled by 40-year-old cats and up typically. I mean, you had Eminem drop last year, LL drop last year, Common and Pete Rock drop last year. I think J. Cole and Kendrick dropped, and they're actually closer to the 40 mark, you know. And really 35 and up ruled last year when it comes to albums. Cause that's the thing, like these older heads from the 90s can actually still put out better albums overall, better quality albums, better timeless albums, better classic albums. And it's going to stand out even more nowadays because the sound is just, it's the same. It's like drill crazy and 808 crazy. It's drill and 808 crazy. There's not a lot of it's not a lot of originality with the samples over these beats. It seems like most producers nowadays or beat makers. That's the thing. You got producers and you got beat makers. And a lot of these cats are beat makers, and they all using the sounds that are presented to them. So their sounds are typically limited. They don't go digging in the crates for sounds no more. They don't go digging and searching for sounds as much as they used to anymore. There was a time when almost every producer was just digging and digging for sounds, digging for samples to put over some kind of kicks and snares and some drum tracks and bass lines or whatever. Now it's just 808 drill, whatever sounds that we have within the software, that's what we're gonna use. So it's very limited. It's very limited. But yeah, I think there is an age limit as far as you trying to establish yourself as an artist who makes a living off of your music. I don't. I mean, and I only say that because we have yet to see somebody make it at age 40, like really start their first, drop their first album, debut their first album, have a hit record, headline a tour. We've yet to see that happen from a cat that was at 40 years old. And until I see it, see it as believe it, man. Until I see somebody break the mold of what we know to be typically true. And if you look at like most of the cats in the 90s, I mean, a lot of those cats got on when they were super young. Lady Luck got on when she was like 16 or 17. Roxanne Shante was young. Mobb Deep was juveniles when they first got on. A lot of cats got on young back in the days, man. And they only around because staying on is an old man's game. You gotta evolve, you gotta change, and you gotta adapt with the times as much as you can, man. But I do think there's an age limit for you establish yourself as an artist. I think if you haven't done it around by 35, 36 ish, it's probably more likely not gonna happen, man. You probably should try something else. And luckily, me, I got out trying to make it as an artist real early in the game. As I started learning about advertising and influencers and record pools and working radio and all these things that typically have done for breaking music throughout the years, and started making a living off of that, I cared less and less about making it as an artist. And I already think that every artist should already have a backup anyways. That's why a lot of dudes get into DJing afterwards. They start out rapping and they get into DJing, or they might have DJ'd first, then made it as a rapper and then went back to DJing. We know a lot of cats got into hip hop because they were dancers at first. They were b-boys at first, but I almost think everybody needs to have something else. Like, you need, if you don't just rap, you need to rap and make beats, or rap and promote and market other artists, or rap and DJ, at the clubs or for the radio stations, or maybe rap and manage other artists, or be a booking agent for other artists. I don't know. I just think I think you gotta have a fallback or a plan B, as you per se. And I also think that a lot of people got into this hip hop shit or this music business shit thinking this shit could last forever, or it was gonna last forever. And that ain't necessarily true for most artists. I don't think most artists like will last but so long. I think like musicians are almost like running backs, man. I think they really got a shelf life of when their peak is. Their peak is typically, I think nowadays the typical peak of an artist is maybe 2 to 3 years at most. and then once those 2 to 3 years is up, they start to kind of fade and fizzle out, especially nowadays, because after an artist drops an album, it's not like they're just making so much better albums after that, and it's not like they're gonna do anything that you ain't already heard. It's not like they're gonna change their sound up too much any. They're gonna sound the same pretty much through everything. So, you know, I mean, the shelf life of most musicians is not long at all. Everybody can't be LL Cool J. Everybody can't be Eminem, Jay-Z, these guys that just resonate forever. Nas. I mean, there's so many cats you go through the 90s that haven't dropped albums in forever, man. And even if they have, most people don't know because they're all underground now. None of them are really mainstream too much no more. I think last year a lot of artists got a little bit more mainstream attention, I guess you could say, with their albums, the LLs, the Commons, and Pete Rocks. And I think people just got tired of, you know, business as usual. The same old shit, business as usual, same 808 beats, same drill sound. I think people are just really getting tired of that. And I think the fact that Kendrick winning like he is right now still has to say something, man, that the artist that has more concepts, more skills, more lyrics, um, that's more, I guess, conscious with his music, more positive with his music, doesn't shoot 'em up, bang bang. That artist is still the most demanded artist in the music industry. And I think like Drake took such a hit. I think most people would say Cole might be number 2 right now, just off of fan base, and diehard fan base, just the sheer numbers, the festival. So I mean, if you look at Kendrick and Cole, I mean, they're two of the more positive rappers, two of the more conscious as it gets rappers in mainstream hip hop, and being at the top, I think it still has to say something. I just think we're at a point where labels don't know how to find more Kendricks and Coles. Maybe I guess it's easier to find these other artists because a lot of those cats are kind of making it and popping on the internet anyways. There isn't too many other Kendrick and Cole artists that are really making a name for themselves in the way Kendrick and Cole have on an independent scale. And a lot of these art, because you got to think, most of these artists that are making it in the mainstream are not making it because of the music. They're making it because all the other shit. They're going viral because all the antics, all the controversy, their image, just the social media lifestyle. That's really what most people are buying into. They're buying into this reality TV show experience with these musicians, and that's really what they follow them for. And these people just so happen to rap, so they follow that as well. But for the most part, if you're not wearing a diaper at South by Southwest, or you're not dyeing your hair pink or some crazy color, or you ain't got some weirdo look, or most of these cats aren't getting that kind of attention. There's not too many artists on the mainstream scale that are solely making it off of their music. J. Cole literally got signed based off of his music. Kendrick was a guy who was with TDE for years, and just grinded and built from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? Most of these cats, they get out here, they get flashy, they do a lot of controversial things, they get attention, and people just kind of fall into this whole love and hip hop reality TV show lifestyle that's going on with them. They're not, most of them, I'm telling you, they're not making it off of their music. People are just following them and becoming fans of what they're doing, and then they just so happen to like the music as well, because that's part of the fan experience. But I'm telling you, it's not gonna translate, man. I'm with Eric Sermon on this. A lot of these artists nowadays, they're not gonna translate because their crowd, when their crowd grows up, they're not gonna be listening to that shit no more. And that's the thing. The '90s hip hop crowd, we ain't stopped listening to '90s hip hop, and we ain't stopped searching for artists that fit with '90s hip hop. They're just, they're not easy to find because streaming is so oversaturated. They're basically, camouflage within all the oversaturation of trash that you got going on to Spotify, all the AI music and whatnot. And now that anybody can get distribution, you know, anybody, thinks they could make it as a musician. So it's gave people a lot of people false hope. I can tell you that. But yeah, age limit on hip hop. I'm gonna say there's an age limit on you making it to where you get signed to a major label. I don't think major labels are signing cats older than 35. If they do, it's very rare. It's very rare. And I don't see nobody really making a super duper living after 35 either. Like if you haven't built up a fan base up to that point, I'm thinking you probably won't never build a fan base that's gonna get you over the hump. But as far as staying on, like if you sign to a major label, you know, and then you get dropped from that major label, staying on is going to be an old man's game. It's not going to be a young man's game. It really is. So I guess I don't know what happened with our guest. I didn't get no email from him. I did not get no email from him. I guess we're just going to see if he wants to come on after his group member next week. But we're supposed to be interviewing Mad from the Goats, and I'm not gonna assume anything. I'm gonna just wait to see what he says, and if he's willing to reschedule, we'll just try to get him on after next week's interview, which will be Swayzak of the Goats and whatnot. And I actually got his phone number, so I'll be able to text him the link directly. Um, yeah, man, J. Cole, Freddie Gibbs. I don't know if Cole wants that smoke. If you're scared of things getting personal, you definitely don't want them getting personal with Freddie Gibbs. LeBron, you're 6'9", 260, 70 pounds. You roll up on scrawny Stephen A. Smith. I don't know what you're trying to prove. You know good and well you wasn't gonna put hands on him. Because if you would have put hands on him, you would have lost some endorsements. You know that, right? You would have lost some endorsements over that. You would have definitely got suspended from the league for that. And like you brought it on your son, man. You said it yourself in the barbershop. You wish you wouldn't have named him Junior because you feel like you put too much pressure on him giving him the name. Then you pressure him into wanting to play with you in the league. We never asked Bronny did he want to play with his dad in the league. I just think he felt pressured to have to try to make it to the league because his dad put that pressure on him. And he's an adult, man. He's making a living in the NBA right now. You know, let him stand on his own 2 feet. Let him be a man and stop treating him like a kid. And as far as age limit in hip hop, I mean, if you haven't made it after 35, made a living, I'm not saying quit making music, but I'm saying lower your expectations at that point. Don't expect to be headlining the tour, or don't expect the major labels to be knocking on your door, man. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, major labels have an age limit on when they're gonna sign artists. I know that much. Major labels have an age limit. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of major independent labels have an age limit. And I just got a question. Like, if you have no fan base at age 35, what are you gonna do any different that's gonna get you fan base at this point? What did it say? It's gonna take one strong nerve to struck at J. Cole. I don't know if he'll ever respond unless he have to. And he don't have to, man. I mean, I don't think he has to. I think people know that he apologized to Kendrick. They can expect it again. What was this one? I really love your platform topics. I gotta hop on a conference call, but I'll definitely be checking. Appreciate you for tuning in. Yeah, we supposed to have an interview tonight, but like I said, I don't know what happened. We're not gonna make no assumptions. We're gonna follow up, and he'll probably have to come on next week after we bring on his guest member. Don't forget, we go live every 7 p.m. Eastern, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Audio version goes Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and much, much more. Chris Porterfield, appreciate you tuning in. Mills Facing, Mr. Myrtle Beach, Sean Way, Uncle Boss, DJ Trey Love, your arts consultant, and Bishop the Overseer, Sean Mike's official, and a few others on Instagram as well. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Before I go, we got this be on the look. Well, y'all probably won't see it. We got an ad running for Dizzle brand. We just got picked up in Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, home of the Chiefs. So we're gonna start running some Dizzle brand commercials on like Tubi, Peacock, and other streaming platforms as well. Those started running today, and we're gonna go ahead and run that same ad right now and give you a word from our sponsor, which is Dizzle brand premium luxury liqueur. We'll be right back.
Joke got me addicted, ain't no coke. Let's just have a toast. Anybody want some smoke? Cause it's up, I be dizzy up. Catch me sipping with my double cup. Can't just have one, you gotta double up. You pour it, gotta watch it bubble up. I ain't gon' lie, I cannot get enough. What Callie said, I need another one. Gon' have you coming back for more, but go get it while it's hot. Before it be sold out in your stores. That Dizzle.
That is right. I really mean it. You could Dizzle too. Dizzle is a premium luxury liqueur mixed with agave tequila, cognac, and orange liquor mango mix. Throw your Dizzle on ice, and it's nice. Want to order your very own bottle or bottles? Go to dizzlebrand.com. Also available in California, Georgia, Missouri, Arkansas, and I don't know if we're still available in Kansas and Oklahoma. I gotta see. But don't forget, we got the Dizzle brand merch as well. Um, Tomorrow I'm doing music reviews. I'm probably gonna go on at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Excuse me. Before I go on though, I'm going to try to explain to musicians and artists how to set up a YouTube ad that will help you get more subscribers to your YouTube channel. I've been using it, $5 here and there on videos and stuff, and this ad will help you get thousands of impressions that'll lead to hundreds of views. But more importantly, it's going to help you get hundreds of subscribers as well. And the ad, actually, if you run like $5 to $10 or whatever on a video, it'll stretch it out over a 2-week camp period. You'll get impressions, you'll get views, and you'll get subscribers. And if anything knows anything about social media, YouTube subscribers are far more valuable than Facebook likes and Instagram followers and TikTok followers as well, because they're so much harder to get. You can't do follow for follow on YouTube. That doesn't work. You could do follow for follow on Twitter, follow a bunch of people and a percentage will follow you back. Same thing with Instagram. Follow for follow typically works. Facebook likes don't typically work like that, but TikTok, you can get on there and start following a bunch of people, and some of those people will follow you back. But YouTube, that doesn't work. You can't just start subscribing to channels and they subscribe back typically, so you got to pump out content and you got to advertise, man, plain and simple, and so I'm gonna get on there tomorrow, show people how to set up the ad, just explain to them the step-by-step guide on how to set up the ad on the youtube.com account. That way you can get more subscribers. and whatnot. So I'm about to go ahead and wrap it up, man. Guest hasn't replied back to the emails. Um, if he replies, we'll hit. You know, we'll just go from there, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And don't forget, follow the Paul Pickett podcast as well. Hopefully, I got an interview coming Sunday. I'm about to start banging out a bunch of interviews on that. We got? Oh, we got Jones. Hold up, Jones. What's up?
Hey, yo, peace, brothers.
I was about to wrap it up, man. I didn't know you. I thought you said you weren't gonna be able to come on here.
Well, just the way things was going tonight, schedule wise, man. I decided just to fuck with you right quick. I got, I'm still getting
You got
prepared for
any?
what I
Okay,
gotta
you got
do.
any? You got any input on these topics I talked about? What you think about this Freddie Gibbs and Cole thing?
I think it's mad interesting, and just like one of the comments, I can't see the name at the moment, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. Cole can respond or not. I don't see him responding at this moment. You know what I mean? But that's mad interesting, and and going back to something else you was talking about, Sadat X was talking. He was touching on the same thing earlier this morning when I
What?
was looking at Twitter. He was just talking about just from his perspective, just what as far as his performances and how he's still cranking out features and recording. He was putting out a plea. Well, not like a plea, but he was saying to cats, just don't stop doing what you're doing and expect to come back, like you got this crowd and stuff. You know what I mean? He actually he actually compared it to trying to jump back in the game like Eddie Kane in the Five Heartbeats when he showed up with the old jacket on and stuff like that. So I don't know. Yeah, I just thought those were some dope topics, man.
Well, I mean, when you take too long of a break, you're out of sight, out of mind. You
Especially
know, there's
nowadays.
yeah, and there's so much going on with people's lives nowadays. They ain't got every day to wake up and think about you when you ain't dropped the album in 10, 15, 20 years.
Nah, they'll actually be they're actually more prone to move on to somebody that's rocking.
Yeah.
For real, no matter, yeah. So consistency is I think, the way things move now, man, consistency is big. Consistency is huge.
Not even just that, as a fan, right? If you're not dropping anything for me to engage with, like, is it my responsibility to keep engaging with? Say you're a guy from the '90s who dropped an album and it was dope, but you haven't dropped that album since. Is it my responsibility to engage with that same album every single day of my life when you ain't gave me nothing new? And there's so many other options out there for me to engage with old school music, new school music, whatever it may be.
Yeah, it's crazy because shoot, I'm a fan, and it's like I think I think we all know about this, but especially from what you're doing with the platform, it's wild because a lot of people you it's like in reverse. You used to wait for the artist, you used to look for the interview, look for promotion, whatever. But now that with some cats, if they're not engaging, they have more people looking for them. And then when they find them, if the page not cracking, if there's not nothing new, you know, they're just going to get breezed over. And you really can't. You can only depend on fandom so much.
And
It's really up. It's always up to the artist to produce.
And think about how many cats that are not using these outlets nowadays. Like back then, you had radio, you had music video box, whatever, Yo MTV Raps, you had the source, rap pages. All those are gone, really. You know what I'm saying, or irrelevant, right?
Yeah,
And then you got a
yeah.
lot of these cats. I mean, when I go trying to find some of these artists from the '90s, you can't even find them on social media.
You
So
really gotta.
who
Yeah,
who the hell would know that they still even alive right now?
just a number one fan, just a hardcore fan looking for him. And then once you find them, you get what you get. And then sometimes you might find somebody that's, they probably still, doing whatever they doing, but there's really not, I don't know, they're really not pushing it. They're really not there. It's like sometimes, we come across cats that they do have a social media presence, but you can tell they haven't even posted anything since like 2020. They're really not using it.
Well, you ain't got a presence then if you ain't used it in like freaking 2025 and you ain't posted since 2020. Your presence is like,
shoot.
You might have a bunch of followers, but if you ain't constantly promoting, like that's the thing, man. They got to at least know you still there. You know what I'm saying? To go, just so you can constantly remind them, like, oh yeah, let me go back and check out that album again. But you just out of sight and out of mind. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. You can't expect us to be waking up every day like I gotta listen to the same, like who's an artist that had like one good album, like the MC Brains album or something. It ain't like I should have to wake up every day and like, yeah, I got to go listen to MC Brains album again today and yesterday and the next day and the next day. I ain't heard from MC Brains in 20 something years.
I promise you can find them though. I've done it.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to. I want to interview that cat.
Word up.
We got a few more minutes before you go though. What do you think about the LeBron rolling up on Stephen A?
I think it is what it is. If you pay, people pay attention, Stephen A, he said it on his own platforms. He's accessible. They can talk to him. So I think LeBron took advantage of, he pulled that card, he saw him where he was at. But I'm just looking at the whole matter. I feel with what you're saying. I was feeling it from even before the draft came. It's like that cat Bronny, man. I don't want to say he's in a tough spot.
He's in a tough spot. No, he's in a tough spot.
But it's like he's like really the first of his kind to be a son of a player, and it's like. He's good. He's good.
He's not the first of a kind to be a son of a player. He's the first of a kind to be the son of a player who's considered one of the top 2 or 3 players of all time.
And that's the thing. I really don't know how Bronny feel. I hope he just balling because
that's the thing. Nobody ever asked Bronny how he feels. Like, did he really want to play with his dad, or did he want to go to his own team, be his own man?
Because them cats, that whole household is coming up with a spotlight. But then when you get to the professionals, the spotlight is, even though the spotlight comes from your pops, I mean, the spotlight is beaming hot, man. So it's like, even if Bronny is balling even if he's playing like a regular rookie, not getting that many minutes, it's still magnified to the 1000th degree.
I think it's some sucker shit knowing that he could try to get tough guy, nothing was going to happen because he wasn't going to do nothing, and Stephen A wasn't going to do nothing either.
It's wild when Cam's all around because it's hard to tell.
Because if LeBron would have put hands on Stephen A, we know I don't care what anybody say, he would have lost endorsements.
Oh, that would have been trash.
They would have went in on
you know what? And the same thing with Stephen A. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. No matter how much he's getting paid paid from Disney. So so I don't know, man. That's wild though. It's a tough position.
Christopher Porterfield said it, rushing him into the league. Yeah, because that LeBron put this pressure on him. I want to play with him. I want to play with my son and whatnot. And never thought about, well, what if he's not good enough to play in the league? Nobody ever brings that up. Like, what if he's not good enough? They just automatically say, "Oh, he's LeBron James' son. He'll be fine. He'll make it. He's gonna be good."
I think even despite the rushing, I think he still would have. He still would have ended up with a spot somewhere anyway.
He might
NBA or
have
G League.
only cause for the same reason he went to the Lakers. Only cause people knew they would have been able to get LeBron. They
Right.
knew they would have been finessed the situation like LeBron finessed the situation.
And so it's like, just comparing the situation to other cats. I know you got to wrap it up, but it's like just on a personal level, I like seeing how Carmelo was doing it, with his kid. I like seeing how Gilbert Arenas is doing with his kid. You know what I'm saying? It's like, even though cats are megastars, you gotta, I don't know. Them cats came up in some kind of natural way too, Don't just toss the kids out there, man. If you really got the money and expertise like that, then go ahead and let them cats get their
Let me
schooling,
ask
man,
you
and start
this.
getting proper.
You think
Yeah,
Michael Jordan couldn't finesse the situation to get his sons in the league if he wanted to, or one of them in the league?
we already know Mike ain't that type of
We
personality.
know he
He
ain't
was
that type of
he wasn't giving he
personality.
wasn't giving no breaks.
We know what he thinks about homeless people. So,
Mike wasn't giving no breaks. None of his kids even went to UNC.
no, they
They
went
had to
to
stay
like
in their own
dude went to
school.
like what was it, like Central Florida or some shit like that. UCF or some shit like that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, but you just saw everything. You saw everything natural, which I think Bronny could have benefited from that. I bet anybody $1 that the situation with Bryce is going to be much different. I
I don't
bet you.
think he's even better than Bronny.
Yeah, I just think his introduction to the league and all that. Because I know
I don't think
he's
he's
going to
gonna
be
make
there.
the. I don't think he's gonna make the league, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you,
Oh,
man.
okay. Well, we're going to put a dollar bet on that right now.
I
Then
don't think he's gonna make the league. I don't think he's even better than Bronny. I think they're just hyping him up because he's taller than Bronny. But that's
I
another
don't
thing.
know.
Bronny's a six
With
foot
my
two
untrained eye,
shooting
I like what
guard.
I see.
When have you seen a 6'2" shooting guard that made it in the NBA? It's like one time, and that's it, really. Allen
Yeah,
Iverson, that's it. But he ain't no Allen Iverson. Think about this. He's a 6'2"
where
shooting
was
guard. What you say?
See, I'm bad. I'm bad with positions. What did Isaiah play? Ooh.
Point guard.
Okay. Never mind. That all makes sense. Never mind. Yeah.
Well, he's a 6'2" shooting guard who can't shoot.
Let's give him some time, man. His last name is James.
What? It ain't Curry. It ain't Curry. It's like I just think it's really there's somebody on that deserves that spot more than him.
I think you know what it's all going to shake out because
You
it's
damn right,
only
it's all gonna shake out.
it's all going to shake out.
Because when LeBron retires, he's either gonna be able to make it on his own too, or he's not. I'm don't want to see the kid fail, but I just think LeBron has did him a disservice by putting all this pressure on him, and these expectations. I mean, and they lied too. It's like they lied to the media, man. You said
Yeah,
he earned the spot. You said he earned the spot. Nobody gave it to him. That's a lie. That's a complete lie. Y'all act like he was ready. You know what I'm saying? We know he's not ready. It's like when Biden was in office and they was lying about him being incompetent, like he'd get too old. It's kind of on the lines of that. It's like y'all lying on this, man. We know y'all being very dishonest about his potential, man, and it could backfire and hurt him because if he's out the league, what's he gonna do? I mean, yeah, he got the LeBron James, the James name, but
man, Cass would be fine, man. But it's just a wild situation.
yeah, I mean, if he
And I
drop,
don't
I don't know, is he gonna drop unless he drops a hit single like
know. No,
Leangelo Ball? What's he
no.
gonna do outside of basketball? Just do appearances because his last name is James?
There's a lot in this world he can do.
I mean, I don't know. They rushed him out of college. They
I'm
rushed him
listening to
out of
Cass, man.
college. You forced him. You forced him into something that he probably ain't built for, man. I just don't think he's built for NBA.
Shoot, we'll see on that, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
prove. I mean, no, prove me wrong, man. Prove me wrong.
Hey, I'm saying, man, we might wake up in about 3 years and I don't know. He's averaging 26. And I don't know. Cole might be on his second disc towards Freddie Gibbs. We never know how the world's going to turn. Oh, Dreamville is coming too.
Oh yeah, and that's the last year, so
So they say, yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna fare for the Dreamville artists. And Dreamville's having some issues, anyways. They got artists wanting to leave over there. They got actually, they're all their best artists want to leave right now.
Yeah, that's
Jid
wild.
is apparently wants to leave. Earth Gang, that female artist they had, I can't remember her name.
Ari Lennox.
Yeah, she definitely openly came out and said she want to leave. Rumors is, Jid and Earth Gang. That doesn't leave a that leaves the cover pretty bare. I will say this about Cole, man. He's kind of like Michael Jordan with the label. I don't think he's a very good evaluator for
I
not
think
necessarily talented artists,
I,
but
I see where you I see
impactful artists.
I see where you're going, but if
Yeah, you know how Jordan was not that great of an owner. He couldn't draft for shit. He couldn't draft for shit.
hypothetically, if Dreamville was the Hornets, at least they would have made it to the playoffs, won some awards a couple of times.
Yeah, but it's like if you look at it, so we're comparing them to the Hornets, right? So J. Cole was LaMelo Ball. You take him off the team, and now you got Brandon Miller trying to lead a team. They're the dead last in the league. They're the bums of the league, man. They can't hold nobody's water, man. Like if you take J. Cole off of that lineup and try to put them on tour, they're not selling out nowhere.
You don't think so?
I know so. They're not selling out nowhere, dude. You could take the whole lineup and try throw them in the Crown Coliseum and let's see if they sell out without J. Cole.
Yeah, it's a tough ticket.
And how many other places are like that? It's gonna be a tough ticket.
That's a tough ticket.
They don't have that one artist. You know how there's levels to this shit, man. Like every artist ain't an arena artist. Some are Coliseum artists. Some are club artists. Some are like small venue artists. There's levels to this shit, man. Everybody can't be like Jay-Z selling out arenas and Eminem selling out arenas and Kendrick selling out arenas and Cole. We've seen Cole. Cole's the only artist to ever sell out the Crown Coliseum. That tells you a lot.
Did Madison Square Garden back to back before that week. Yeah, that was pretty tight.
Yeah, only certain artists are selling out Madison Square Garden, dude.
I don't know. It got me thinking about another piece of subject matter, man, but it'll need more time, just as far as like labels and entertainment groups, ran by the number one artist that happens to be right there too, and just a success rate for the rest of the artists.
Well, I've always said that
it's an interesting topic.
Well, if you look at the history, most of the time when an artist signs an artist, the artist is never as big as them.
Yeah.
You've only seen it a few times. You've seen Big Pun was bigger than Fat Joe. Mm-hmm. I would say Drake and Nicki have gotten as big as Lil Wayne, if not bigger.
That's a positive. Yeah, that's a positive.
But when else can you really say, hey, this artist signed an artist and they were bigger than them? Maybe like 50 Cent for a while when Eminem signed him. The first two albums.
The Game, yeah. Game was coming up. Yeah.
But most of the time when you sign an artist, I mean, like, think about it. Like, maybe when King T signed the Alcoholics or something, were they bigger than King T? Maybe, would you say?
I say that, yeah.
And I don't even know if he signed. Did he sign the Alcoholics? He might not necessarily sign the Alcoholics.
They definitely crew though. They definitely family.
We know no artist Jay-Z put out was bigger than him. No artist that
Yeah,
Most
Alcoholics
people
came
put
out.
out are never bigger than them.
Yeah, Alcoholics came out on Loud Records, and that's
So
a
that
Steve.
wasn't, yeah, that's
Right,
not
so
even
that's a
King,
different
yeah,
situation. Yeah,
different
I get what you're
situation.
saying.
So
I get what
typically,
you. Yeah.
and I think the reason that is because if you were supposed to be as big as the artist or bigger than the artist, they wouldn't have to put you on.
Hmm.
Because there's a difference between getting on and putting on. Like a cat like Nine, he got on.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you know that put him on like that?
And
He
I
was
get what
in a
you're saying.
group. Well, he was in a group with Funkmaster Flex. They was in a group together. You know, he kind of more got on. But sometimes cats, when they get put on, I just feel like if you was supposed to be as big as them or bigger, you would have probably got on instead of getting put on. That's why you get put on, because you're probably not as big. Without that opportunity, you might not never even get on if you don't get put on.
Mm,
You
I
get what I'm
hear that.
saying? If you don't get
Yeah,
put
I get what
on, you
you're
might
saying.
not never get on, because that and people don't get put on too much no more. You notice that, right?
Nah,
Cats get on nowadays. They get on nowadays more than they get put on.
mm-hmm.
Back in the 90s and those times, cats were putting cats on all the time, man. Eric Sermon put on Das Effects, Redman, all types of motherfuckers. Keith Murray. Were any of those artists really bigger than him? No.
Nah, they definitely made an impact though. They
But what
definitely.
I mean, Redman maybe,
Shoot, that's successful to me.
maybe, but that's still questionable because EPMD was so big at that time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Gangstar, nobody they put on was really bigger than them, I don't think.
It always come back to them.
Group Home,
But
J. Rule, Alpha Rod, they
yeah,
won't none of them really bigger than Gangstar.
they tight though. Yeah, they tight.
Yeah, so typically if you got to put on a cat, he's typically probably not gonna be as big as you because you had to put him on for him to get on. And
And
because if he was, he probably would just got on and been as big as you. But I mean, but sometimes cats got to get on, some cats got to get put on. So it's part
mm-hmm.
of the game. I just don't think you should expect to be bigger than the artist that put you on. It's
Yeah.
so rare. It's so rare. It's just so rare.
Yeah, it messes with the expectations. You
And it's
know.
not even about like the artists don't never put enough behind the artist. It's just sometimes the impact. Like look at a cat like Young Dro. T.I. puts him on. I mean, yeah, he had his hit record that came out. You know what I'm saying? But something about him didn't translate to what T.I. was doing. His personality or something. You know what I'm saying? Something was missing to make him as big as T.I. And I would say it would be his personality and maybe his rhyming ability. I don't think he rhymed as good as T.I. You know,
He dope though. I guess
he's dope, but I don't think he rhymed as good as T.I. I don't think he had a personality that T.I. did.
Yeah, it's just like you said, the difference getting on and being put on. You know, and everybody don't get the same results.
And if you ain't got on or been put on by age 35, I'm gonna say not necessarily hang it up, but just don't expect to get on and get put on after that age.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely do your
do you
thing,
think any
man.
record label will sign a 40-year-old rapper for the first time right now?
I'll never say never. Never say never. You know
Do
what
you
I'm
think
saying?
you'll ever see it in our lifetime?
Yeah, it's just not a whole bunch
I
of them
don't. I
because
don't. I
we I
don't.
mean we're
I don't think you'll
definitely.
ever see a
I think
record label sign a guy for the first time at age 40.
I mean yeah. I mean cats want to
Not
get
in
the
hip
point.
hop. Not in
Yeah,
hip hop, at least. I don't know about other genres.
I think other genres it'll work the same too
I
because
think it. I think hip hop it'd be even worse.
like any like any corporation, man, they want the best. They want the best times out of you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the younger the better, because once you hit definitely once you hit 30, you already kind of like into your life. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? There's some you've already you already got your personality set. You know, it's not too many changes. You know, it's not that much flexibility as somebody, you know, just all fresh faced and getting in for the first time, you know. Yeah. So, you know, all that stuff come into play.
Want to do any shout outs before we go?
Hey man, just shout out to you and peace to everybody that tuned in. And
Rest in peace to your
that's
uncle
it.
too, man.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. And peace to everybody out there, man. Like I said last time, you know, just holler at your people, just check on them.
All right,
Send a text.
we're gonna find out what happened to Mad of the Goats. Let's not make no assumptions. You know,
Oh
we're gonna
yeah,
try. I think the game plan will be, you know, it hits back and let me know what was up. I'll probably just try to tell him to come on after Swayzak for the Goats. We got Swayzak of the Goats next week, and whatnot. So if he comes on, I'll just try to see if Mad wants to come on afterwards. You know, and then I'll knock out both interviews at the same time next week and shit. But looks like tonight we're just gonna have some Paul and some Jones clips from this one.
word. I'm sure right now they're looking better than the Carolina and Duke clips. I'll hold off on the score. Um, my co-host over here is already moved to the NBA, so I don't know. We'll see how things looking for the home team after halftime.
All right, well, shit, I'm gonna holler at you later, man. Enjoy the rest of your night, man, and
I know.
travel safe.
Indeed. Peace.
Peace. We out.